Perfect. Perfect.
All right, everybody, what's going on? And welcome to another edition of SWAC Talk. Of course, this show we cover the SWAC inside and out, and I'm your tour guide around the SWAC. Seawell's coming at you. And today we're gonna talk some Alabama A&M Bulldogs in 2023. Again, these are not my season previews; those are coming up shortly. And we start the previews off with the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. But I wanted to just talk about a question that a lot of people have about certain teams, and defense is always the problem or the issue that a lot of people have with Alabama A&M the last few years. So I wanted to know, could the Bulldogs can they bite on defense? Can they get stronger? Can they make plays? Can they become a team that not necessarily is a team that's a defensive team, but a team that can kind of step it up a little bit more in defense and kind of make some things better, because it's been a little rough on the defensive side of the ball for the Bulldogs. Like I said, we got our 12-team previews coming up shortly. If you want to see the schedule for that, those are on the socials. Facebook is SWAC Talk, Instagram SWAC Talk, Twitter SWAC Talk 76. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're making our way up to 1K. We're getting there. We really appreciate y'all for hitting that subscribe button and helping us get there. We would also appreciate if you'd like to help the show. There's a join button on the YouTube page that you can become a member of the channel. You can check that out at your leisure and see all the perks that come with it. So, if you want to do that, that's there for you. Also, hit that notification bell, like the video and share it, and feel free to comment on your thoughts on the Bulldogs and can that defense get better and start to bite opponents in the upcoming season. So with that being said, man, we're gonna start taking a look at how the Bulldogs have done on defense the last couple of years. In 2019, his defense was definitely not good. They gave up over 216 yards per game on the ground. They really got gashed, allowing 5.1 yards per carry to opponents on the ground. They gave up 220 yards through the air. They gave up 30 touchdowns that year to 12 interceptions, giving up a total of 436.5 yards per game and 6 yards per play. So this team, these last couple of years, 2019, 2021, they had a very good offense. And so a lot of times they didn't mind getting in scoring battles with you because they would typically come out on top on those. But when you can't stop anybody and you're giving up 33 points per game like they did in 2019, you're gonna lose games to good teams that you just can't outscore. And that was a problem that they had in 2019, and that problem kind of continued to 2021. Coming off of the spring season, the fall of 2021, his defense gave up 35 points per game. Now the offense scored 37. So again, you were able to outscore your opponents, but you couldn't stop anybody. You gave up average 188 yards on the ground per game, 5.8 yards per carry, 237 yards through the air, 23 touchdowns to only 8 interceptions. You gave up 6.6 yards per play in total offense and 425 yards of offense for the opponent. So the running numbers went down a little bit, and the total offense average per game went down like 5 yards, but you gave up 0.6 yards more per play. So you're still giving up big plays and still giving up a lot of points. And that kind of bled over into last season. This team in 2021, they were 9th in total defense. They were 11th in rushing defense. So still not, just can't really stop anybody. They were ninth in passing defense. Um, they were 11th in sacks as a defense with only 13, and they were in the middle of the pack in interceptions with 8. This defense just really could not get the stops when they needed it. Um, they were pretty solid on third downs that year at 37%, which was fifth place. Fourth downs kind of did them in. They gave up 47% on fourth down. Opponents went for it 23 times, which was the third most in the league. So teams, if they couldn't get on third down, they got it on fourth down. And then those numbers kind of improved a little bit when you move on to the 2022 season. This team defensively, they still gave up a lot of points. They gave up 32. This season, the offense didn't score but 20 points per game last season. So that's a big reason why this team was 4-7. The offense was pretty solid, but they just couldn't score the ball because they couldn't stop turning the ball over. Defense didn't necessarily help that. The defense didn't really do a lot. They were able to get 18 turnovers on the season, 9 fumbles, 9 interceptions, but they still gave up 157 yards on the ground. So they got a bit better in the rushing defense. So that's something that I really do like to see. They became a middle of the pack team in rushing defense at 157 yards per game. That was 7th in the league. Their passing defense was still not good, 225 yards per game, 26 touchdowns, like I said, 9 interceptions. Opponents completed 52% of passes. So teams were pretty successful moving the ball through the air, even though they did kind of get better on the ground. Total defense, they were again middle of the pack, so they moved up a bit, 382 yards per game, giving up 5.7 yards per play, which was the lowest out of that 3-year span that we looked at. So the defense did get better. They still gave up a lot of points, and they still, didn't necessarily wreak a lot of havoc. But the growth was there. So you kind of hope that this is a trend that can continue to grow. 23 sacks this past season, so they got a little bit better with the pass rush. Looking at third down conversions, they were 10th at 42%, so they got worse on third downs. And fourth downs, they were last, giving up 55%. So they did not stop anybody whenever teams got into third and whatevers and fourth and whatevers. They really didn't get teams off the field. And when you play like that, you give up those kind of points week in and week out. You find yourself in a lot of shootouts, and this year they weren't equipped for that offensively. But this team, the last few years, this team has really been aggressive in the portal, getting defensive guys for whatever reason, whether it's injury or just guys not really gelling. They didn't really mesh and come out on the way that you would expect them to. Defensively, they lose their top tacklers. So that's definitely something that those are holes that are gonna have to be filled. They went heavy again in the portal with 6. They got 10 guys from FBS to transfer in. 6 of them were defensive guys, and a 7th guy moved from quarterback to defensive back. So 7 of your 10 guys are defensive guys in the portal. Just like previous years, heavy in the portal. At some point, you have to find a way to start developing these guys, man. Not going in the portal every year and getting huge numbers of guys. You have to start to build some kind of chemistry on the defense. Getting guys in, if you're getting transfer guys, getting guys with multiple years, so they can start to grow in your program, and give you a team that brings back experience in a couple years, and not constant turnovers, not hoping that this guy pans out. Building depth and just becoming a better defense, because to me, the defense is gonna have to take some steps forward to really help this team grow. Because I don't really see this as a team offensively that's gonna gonna go out there and put up the 35, 40 points week in and week out. So you're gonna need games where your defense is gonna have to get those stops. You're gonna have to start holding teams to under 28 points. Because last season, like I said, your offense only scored 20. So, I don't really see this being a defense that holds people to 21 points or 24, but 28, and then hope that your offense can score 29 or 30, then you find yourself in a better position. Early season, it's gonna be a little tough. You got Vanderbilt on the road to open up the season. You got to go to Southern, which you never know what you're gonna get there. But that's a team that's probably gonna run the ball a lot, so you're gonna get tested. And then you get a tough stretch run in the middle of the season. Jackson State, Grambling, Bama State offensively, we don't know. FAMU's gonna be explosive offensively, and then you close out with Bethune-Cookman, who's a wild card, and Valley, who's a wild card. So you have three teams, counting Pine Bluff, that are in total rebuild mode. So you have a chance to make your defensive numbers get a little bit better, and a Bama State team who offensively hasn't been great. So you playing four teams in conference play that potentially can have really good offenses, and four that are probably going to have iffy offenses. So your numbers should get better if you can navigate those. I don't want to call them easy games, but you can navigate those those rebuild type of games, and then find your way to play a solid defensive game in one or two of those other games. Then you can find yourself in a good spot, because to me, third place is for the taking. I know nobody goes into the season saying they want to finish third, but with a JSU and a FAMU that are ahead of everybody, that third spot is very important, because with those two teams battling it out, and you never know what else happens with those teams. If you find yourself at that spot, maybe an upset or two, you might find yourself in the second spot, which is a really, really good finish for a team that went 4-7 last season. So, a lot of it is there. And I mean, you have two D2 games that neither one of them are cakewalks, but you have two D2 games. So you can find yourself winning 6 or 7 games if the chips fall right. And a lot of that, like I said, is going to have to depend on the defense, because this offense, I just don't see it being. It's another year of experience for these guys. You moved away from the kill glass offense, and now your quarterback play is kind of iffy. But you have a great back in Donovan Eaglin, so that helps your offense. But the defense is really going to help this offense, and that's forcing turnovers and getting off the field on third and fourth down. Like I said, I really like the way those rushing numbers went down on defense over the last 3 seasons, from over 200 yards to about 155. If you can keep that in that range, then you're in pretty solid shape. Like I said, finishing this past season at 7th place with 157 yards per game, that's a pretty solid number. I mean, if you can get that down to 145, 140, then you're really a really solid defense that teams won't just be able to line up and smash you on offense. And if you can make teams have to throw the ball, then hopefully your secondary can hold up, because you do have some solid guys in the secondary returning, and you brought in some guys that you're hoping to make some plays in the secondary. Like I said, I just think that this is this year has to be a better season for your defense, and you need to start being able to not necessarily go so heavy in the portal every year. At some point, I think you got to go with what you got. You can supplement here and there with guys out of the portal, but I don't think you need to go super duper heavy. But like I said, you took some big losses on defense this past season, on a defense that wasn't necessarily amazing. So the opportunity for guys to step in and make some plays are there, and we'll see how they do. But like I said, can they bite on defense? Bite their opponents on defense? That remains to be seen. I would hope they can, because like I said, you have to go back to 2018 to find Alabama and them defense that was really, really solid. And it's just been downhill from there for various reasons. Wasn't necessarily lack of talent, because they had a lot of good individual guys on those teams, but just not necessarily great team defense. So we'll see how that pans out. But I'm excited to see how this team does because, like I said, I think defensively they're gonna have to take that step because I don't think that offense is gonna be explosive enough to be able to average 30 points a game if your defense is giving them 31. So they're gonna have to find a way to revamp this team. The running game is gonna carry this team on offense, and defensively they need to be tough against the run and make timely stops against the pass. So that's where I stand. And this is normally I kind of answer this question at the end. I can't answer this one because we don't, I just don't know can they do it. I won't say no, they can't, and I can't say yes, they will because this team just hasn't really proven it. So just continue to take those steps and get better, week in and week out. If this defense is better at the end of the season than they were at the beginning, and they can still be like a number 6 or 7 defense in the conference, they should find themselves in the majority of their games that they play. I would really say, like I said, looking at their schedule, I would really say they're only heavy underdogs in 2 conference games. So the rest of those games they have a shot at. Um, it's not impossible for this team to win a lot of conference games if the offense can, be consistent and the defense can continue to get better. Because they're gonna have to. This is gonna have to be a team that gets it done on both sides of the ball. At least at this portion of the season. So my answer is I don't know, but I would love to see them continue to get better on defense because, like I said, the last couple of years they've been really, really bad on defense. Like I said, they got better last season, but they're still not where they would like to be. So we'll continue to see how this goes. But I'd like to thank y'all for tuning in for this quick little hitter. And like I said, we have our weekly, our 12-team previews coming at you in a couple of weeks. So check out the socials to get that information. Facebook is SWAC Talk 70. Facebook is SWAC Talk. Instagram SWAC Talk Twitter SWAC Talk 76. And like I said, we'll be back with another edition of SWAC Talk on Wednesday. So we'll holler at y'all on the rebound. Peace.